Have you ever felt trapped in a cycle of constant effort, where it seems like the more you try to achieve something, the farther away it gets? Perhaps you're putting so much energy into control that you've disconnected from what really matters, living in the present moment. What if I told you that there's a way to achieve what you desire without the anxiety, stress, and frustration that come with it? In this video, we will explore a powerful concept inspired by Zen philosophy, the art of letting things happen. You will discover how small shifts in perspective can transform your life, helping you reduce stress, live with more clarity, and attract results more naturally. More than that, we'll share practical techniques that you can apply right away to feel lighter and in harmony with the flow of life. If you're tired of swimming against the current or feel like your efforts don't always yield the expected results, stay with me until the end. This could be the moment you finally learn to let go of what you can't control and live with more balance and purpose. The heart of Zen philosophy, letting things happen is not about giving up, but about accepting the natural flow of things. It's like learning to surf. You don't control the waves, but you choose how to ride them. This idea challenges the modern instinct to be in control all the time, showing that true freedom comes from allowing yourself to flow with life. Imagine watching a leaf floating in a river. It doesn't fight the current, but lets itself be carried, trusting the course of the waters. This is the essence of letting things happen. While many people confuse this with passivity, Zen teaches us that it is, in fact, a form of wise action. When you stop fighting against life's tides, you start to see opportunities that were once hidden. Think of times when you insisted so much on something that seemed impossible, but by relaxing, everything fell into place almost magically. This practice requires trust, something that Zen cultivates with patience and reflection. Start applying this concept. Try a simple practice. Choose an area of your life where you're trying to force results and ask yourself, what if I simply let this flow for a moment? Write down your answers and observe what changes in your feelings and perceptions. This small step already paves the way for something bigger, especially when you understand why we're so obsessed with controlling everything. The need for control is almost instinctive, but in the modern world, it has become an obsession. We live in an age where everything seems to revolve around goals, results, and deadlines. We want to ensure that every step is under our command, as if life were a mathematical equation. However, the more we try to control, the more anxiety we accumulate. It's like holding sand. The tighter you grip, the more it slips through your fingers. Deep down, this relentless pursuit of control is a reflection of the fear that something will go wrong. This fear is fueled by a societal narrative that values perfection and predictability. After all, who hasn't heard phrases like, "You need to have everything planned," or "You can't leave anything to chance"? But the reality is that chance is inevitable. Even the most well-laid plans can be interrupted by unexpected events. Think of situations like a delay in traffic that eventually led you to meet someone special or learn something new. These moments show that lack of control can also be productive. If you want to reduce this need, start with a practical exercise. Choose one day to not plan anything beyond the essentials. Allow yourself to explore what happens without a rigid script. You might be surprised by the sense of lightness and the opportunities that arise. After all, the less we resist, the more life finds ways to guide us. And curiously, this is where the magic happens. The less we try, the more we achieve. The law of reverse effort is a fascinating paradox. The more you try to force something, the further away the result seems. Think of a sleepless night. The harder you try to sleep, the more awake you become. This idea, explored in both Zen philosophy and psychology, shows that the obsession with control creates unnecessary tension, blocking the natural flow of things. When you relax, however, what seemed impossible unfolds effortlessly. It's like opening your hand to hold water. Less force, more result. This principle can be seen in various aspects of life, from relationships to professional achievements. Imagine a pushy salesperson trying to force a product. The more they push, the further the customer retreats. Now, think of a confident professional who presents the solution without pressure. The chances of success are much higher. The same goes for what we seek in life. Instead of swimming against the current, sometimes all we need to do is float and let the natural flow guide you. Apply this law in your daily life. Try creating moments of pause in challenging situations. The next time you catch yourself trying to control an outcome, ask yourself, what if I let this flow? Take a deep breath and allow things to unfold. Perhaps it's time to accept that sometimes the shortest path is not the most direct. And this is precisely where the present moment becomes essential to your journey. The present moment is where everything happens, but curiously, it's where we're least often. The human mind has the ability to travel between the past and the future, and it's this variability that often steals our peace. We get trapped in what has already happened or in what may happen, while the now, the only real time, slips away. Zen invites us to slow down and connect with the present, because it is here that life fully manifests. Imagine yourself savoring a cup of coffee. If you really pay attention, you notice the aroma, the taste, and even the texture. This is living in the now. However, being in the present doesn't mean ignoring responsibilities or the future, but rather recognizing the value of what's happening while walking toward where we want to go. A simple example? How many times have you driven to a familiar destination without remembering the route? This autopilot mode is useful, but disconnects us from the experience. Being present is noticing the path, not just the destination. Small practices like a mindful walk or eating a meal without distractions can be powerful exercises to bring your mind back to the now. Start valuing the present. Create subtle reminders throughout the day. Place phrases like, "Where is my mind right now?" on your phone or desk. These gentle prompts help bring your attention to the moment, especially when you feel the anxiety of the future or the shadows of the past. And, curiously, when you embrace the present, letting go of what holds you back becomes much easier. Detachment is often confused with giving up, but in the context of Zen, it means something completely different. Letting go is an act of courage because it requires trusting that life will follow its course without the need for constant control. Think of a balloon held by a string. Letting go of the string isn't losing the balloon, but allowing it to follow its purpose. Detachment is recognizing that the value of things is not in possession, but in the experience they provide. It's the freedom to live without the weight of attachment. This concept applies to many areas of life, from relationships to personal goals. A common example is in professional dreams. When someone is so obsessed with a promotion or recognition, they create anxiety and hinder their performance. But by letting go of this obsession, without giving up the effort, the mind opens to new possibilities and creative solutions. Detachment is not about abandoning the goal, but about letting go of the fear of not achieving it. Practice detachment. Start with a simple exercise. Choose something small you're trying to control and try letting it go for a day. It could be a discussion you're insisting on resolving or a problem that's consuming your energy. Observe how you feel and the unexpected results that may arise. This practice can become a powerful habit, especially when applied to larger areas of your life. And with this lightness, the techniques Zen offers for letting things happen naturally emerge. Zen offers practical tools for those seeking to balance effort and fluidity in life. One of them is meditation focused on the breath. Sitting in silence and observing your breath, without trying to control it, teaches the body and mind to accept the moment as it is. It's a reminder that not everything needs to be manipulated to work. Start by dedicating 5 minutes a day to this practice. It doesn't matter where you are, on the couch, at work, or even in the car, while waiting for something. The simplicity of the technique makes it powerful. Another effective technique is wabi-sabi, the concept of embracing imperfection. Instead of seeking perfect results, celebrate what is already before you, even if incomplete. Imagine a project you're working on. Instead of worrying about every detail, allow yourself to appreciate the progress you've already made. This practice reduces pressure and, ironically, improves results because the mind works more creatively and relaxed. Finally, the practice of non-resistance. When something goes wrong, instead of reacting impulsively, accept the situation before acting. For example, when facing unexpected traffic, try seeing it as an opportunity to listen to a song or a podcast you enjoy. Small changes like these train your mind to flow with life, rather than fight against it. And by adopting these techniques, you naturally begin to overcome the fears that block the act of letting go. The fear of letting go is one of the greatest emotional blockages we face. It often disguises itself as worry and control. When we fear losing something, whether it's a relationship, an opportunity, or an identity, the tendency is to grip tighter. However, the harder we try to hold on, the more we suffer. Imagine holding on to a weight for so long that, in the end, letting it go feels impossible. This is the fear that often camouflages itself under the false sense of security. Overcoming the fear of letting go begins with the realization that life is not a straight line. It's full of detours, and each detour can lead us to a better destination. A good practice is to visualize the results of holding on to control, then imagine what would happen if you let the situation unfold on its own. Over time, you'll start to realize that letting go doesn't bring the end of the world, but rather a new freedom. Try starting with small situations. Instead of insisting on something you've already tried multiple times, allow things to resolve themselves. This simple act can be liberating. Another helpful trick is the power of no technique. When you feel fear taking over, take a mental pause and say no to excessive control. This interruption in the thought pattern creates space for you to see the situation more clearly. Gradually, that space will grow, and the fear of letting go will begin to lose its grip. It's like pressing the pause button and realizing the game can continue without your constant intervention. And as you keep practicing, you start to see the value in fluidity. When we apply the philosophy of letting things happen, the benefits are astonishing. One of the greatest gains is stress reduction. The constant pressure to control every aspect of life creates a cycle of anxiety. By adopting the practice of letting go, you automatically release the accumulated tension. Imagine waking up and realizing that instead of fighting the day, you're ready to allow yourself to experience it as it comes. This doesn't mean inactivity, but rather acting with wisdom and balance, without forcing outcomes. Another significant benefit is increased creativity. A mind that is stuck in control has no room for innovation. When you let go of the need to control, you create space for new solutions and ideas. Think of an artist who, instead of trying to make perfect art, allows themselves to create without judgment. It's in this space of freedom that the most creative ideas emerge. When you allow yourself, the universe opens up, and with it, new possibilities begin to appear. Finally, a deeper benefit is the enhancement of relationships. When we stop controlling others and situations, we create a healthier, more natural dynamic. This happens because others also feel free to be themselves, without the pressure to meet unfounded expectations. If you observe your closest relationships, you'll notice that when there is trust and space, they tend to grow more organically. This fluidity not only improves connections, but also creates a harmony that makes living together lighter and more satisfying. Living in harmony with the flow of life is, at its core, learning to dance with events instead of fighting against them. This state of harmony doesn't emerge overnight. It's a constant practice of openness and acceptance. Imagine walking through a river. The water goes wherever it wants, but you learn to follow its course without resisting. In life, the same principle applies. When you stop forcing situations and begin to flow with them, the results become more natural and satisfying. This journey begins with self-awareness and the willingness to trust life, even when it seems to challenge us. It's not about becoming passive, but about acting with wisdom. Think of someone facing a professional crisis. Instead of despairing and trying to control all the variables, they begin to see the situation as an opportunity for growth. By learning to adapt, they find solutions they would never have considered if they were stuck in the idea of absolute control. True harmony arises from this mental flexibility that on the path to living in harmony with the flow, you begin to understand that things happen at the right time. Resistance is what causes suffering. If you fight against time, inevitable aging, or even failures, life becomes a constant battle. However, when you learn to let go, doors open to a lighter, fuller life. And so, with trust in the process, the journey continues, always guiding you to where you need to be. Now that you understand the benefits of letting things happen, it's time to put it into practice. Remember, life doesn't need to be a constant struggle to reach your goals. By learning to let go of excessive control, you create space for opportunities to flow naturally. Ask yourself, where are you trying to control too much? What would happen if you simply let life follow its course? Try this new perspective and notice the changes that will come. The first step to transforming your life starts when you decide to trust the process. So, what are you waiting for to apply this knowledge? Don't let the fear of letting go of control hold you back. The future starts now, and only you can decide how to live this moment. If you felt inspired by this content and want to continue learning how to live in a lighter way, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. Each new video will be another step toward a more balanced and fulfilling life. Shall we do this together? Leave your comment below telling us how you plan to apply what you've learned here, and share it with those who also need to understand the power of detachment.